Did I scare you? I hope I did. Anyway, it is a hypertrophy with my hair down, because I'm actually going to send this video to a mutual or two, and I just don't want them to think I look clapped, because I usually just show my body and nothing else. So, well, I show my face occasionally, but you know, most of the time on my hypertrophy thingy-majiggies, I got my hair up, my neck hair's like, I just look like a ghoul. So, you know, I got my chin mostly shaved, and you know, I just came back from the gym, so my hair doesn't look the best, but it looks alright. Anyway, today's subject is how not to build a pair of booty cheeks. What do I mean by this? Well, I came across this workout program, which is god awful. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Still is up there. Now, here's the thing. Before I get into this, I need to mention this. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I will nerd out a ton, but if it's too much for you, you can just click off this video, do this workout, you'll probably get some results, and this can be an okay-ish starting point. I mean, I still will doubt it is, because, I mean, you'll see. In fact, let's just get into it now. I don't know if you will be able to see this with the current... Oh, there we go. So, get my melatonin out of the way. Already, by the colours and the animation style, you can tell it is total horse shit. Total bullshit. So saying, for perky butt, do this. I hate it when people say, just do this, do that, do this. I don't know if it's potential ADHD or something. I've heard that might have something to do, but oh my goodness, I hate it. Dude, explain to me. Let me know why. Give me the mechanisms in which this is good. And if not, at least just give me some justification. Just give me some justification for it. I don't like it when people just say, just do this. It just reminds me of like right wingers when they say, "Oh, the left are idiots." Why? They're bad. They bleh. Explain. Talk your points. Anyway, sorry to politicize this video. Anyway, do this. Plie squats times by 20. Now, if you don't know what plie squats are, and I didn't know what plie squats were, what they basically are is like a sumo squat. Now, this is actually a pretty decent exercise, but we already got a problem. Do 20 reps. Do 20? No. Don't do any arbitrary number of reps. Maybe a rep range. If this said do 5 to 20 reps, that gives you some leeway, because, well, first of all, let me just put this here. The goal of repetitions is not to just hit them for the sake of hitting them. It is so you're able to have the point of them, right? Let's say on a certain exercise, 10 kilos for like 20 reps. If I just started the gym and I just horsed and butt-fucked the weight up to my face to get those 20 reps, that is not the point of the exercise. That's not the point of why that recommendation is there, or that goal is there. It's a bit of a stupid goal because, again, it's arbitrary. We all got our different leverages and different joints and different bone structure to make certain exercises easier or harder. Internal cues are a thing, so some people may be genuinely going down deep and slow and trying to really focus on their quads. Someone else is just going to with their lower back, whatever. The point of the journey are the steps, not just the goal. It's like if you were to say, okay, you know what, if you want to burn 500 calories, you have to go travel 5 miles. Now, the recommendation travel 5 miles is in of itself ambiguous. So you might just go on a fucking SUV or a motorcycle, because that's the fastest way to burn 500. No! You're supposed to walk there. Each step for... Because here's the thing, that's why I say in this analogy, it's not just the fault of the person who took the motorcycle. He just heard go travel. This guy's saying just do plie squats. They don't even show you a demonstration of these plie squats. They don't tell you do it with good technique and proper form like they should for a beginner video aimed at beginners. Because let me just tell you this right now, fucking Chris Bumstead is not doing this. He's not like, yeah, what's up? I'm Canadian and I'm Chris Bumstead. I've got a really nice mustache. Oh, this is sick. I might do 20 ply squats right now. Thank you. I'm sorry, I really butchered the impersonation. I'm sorry. I don't mean any offense to Chris Bumstead. Don't eat me. Anyway, ply squats in of themselves aren't a bad exercise, but let me tell you this right now, they can hurt some people's joints. I know for myself, sumo squats hurt me. I don't like them. Well, I mean, I like them, but they don't like me. It's like with me with dips. People, it's the dumbest shit ever. I hear stuff like, oh, upright row is so terrible. Upright row is so evil. I do it for like years, and I've got no problems. No shoulder impingement, nothing. Then some dickhead's like, oh, well, the same dickhead probably will be like, oh, well, as soon as you can do 10 reps on the dips, you can just go fucking push some extra weight, add a bar, and add 10 kilos. I would try. Dude, my sternum hates me. It would never want me to do that. I couldn't do that if I want. I have to give up dips, sadly, no matter how slow I go, no matter the tempo, etc., etc. That shit will pop my sternum. And it's not good. So, you're saying to beginners to do this on sumo squats of all squats. The one that requires some of the most mobility in terms of just general hips. I mean, dude, hip mobility, your anatomy. Also, the fact that, well, a lot of people's external rotators, as well as adductors being the inner thigh, are weak as hell. Now, it's a good-ish protocol to have some sumo-esque movement in your program to work your inner thighs. I think inner thighs are better than the quads aesthetically, because I think the quads, they're alright, they're cool, but the adductors always get missed. That means, by the way, when I say adduct, just for the people who are curious, I got this mixed up plenty of times. Adduct is like this, abduct is like this. It's like abducted by an alien spaceship. It takes you away from your home. Like your home position, in this case being your legs. Adduct is this, right? Adduction. It's also called good girl in terms of like on a machine. It used to be called good girl, bad girl machine, because the bad girl would open up a leg. As hell as it's a product of its time. So ply squats are alright for that, but again, I think personally a lot of people are better off warming up with some adduction work first, or a little bit of a bold one, maybe going a little narrower, just going a bit deeper, because that also targets the adductors quite well. That being said, it's not the worst movement. It's okay for the glutes. I would put this to be B tier exercise for the glutes, because you can still get quite a bit of quads. It's more of an adductor thing, like in my personal opinion. But you see people do it, it's alright. What really is important, however, is the angle of hip flexion versus knee flexion, if you wanted to truly bias your glutes. What do I mean by this? Well, I'll demonstrate it with this guy over here. Alright, so here it will look a bit weird as a demonstration, but it's related, trust me. I don't think that one's actually going to be the good one. Maybe this one. So, this guy will get more glutes from his squats than this guy. Can you tell me why? Simple. This guy's bending over more. He has to bend over more. And let me just check I'm not like absolutely... Alright, I don't think I'm doxing myself. I'm just going to put the camera just a little lower just in case, because I don't want you to see my full name. Not that I give too much of a shit, but apparently I should. So, also my desk is a mess, I apologise. Anyway, this guy's bending over, his hips are creasing more. This guy, his knees are bending a little bit. They're kind of bending a similar-ish amount, but in relation, this has less hip flexion to knee flexion, so the ratio's a bit different. They make it similar-ish hypertrophy in the quads, but this guy's lower back might take a bit more of a beating as well as his glutes. So that's the thing, right? We can learn from that. If you get... Is that tissue paper? Oh my god, don't tell me I had tissue paper in my... Fuck. There was tissue paper in my... No, that's not tissue paper. That's some pillow fluff or whatever the hell. I don't know where that came from. I really hope that wasn't in my... I really hope you didn't just see that, the whole thing. And you didn't tell me? Dickhead. Anyway. If you're getting yourself into squats and you want to get some glutes hinging over and going deep-ish, but also being able to have the knees maybe not do as much work proportionally might be the safe bet. Though a lot of people like the thighs to go with the glutes, so squats aren't bad at all. I'm not just saying to just do Romanian deadlifts, because that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate hinge. Hinges are just king for glutes in my personal opinion. So this is like you saw the hinging over. This is just hinge. The knees barely flex. There's like just a teensy bit of a flexion, but nothing much. The knees don't even come over the midfoot. Well, what does this mean? Sumo squats are okay, but if they don't really give you that ability to hinge for yourself, which doesn't necessarily mean you have to go all the way over your toes with your head or whatever, but if you're just generally finding it difficult, and if you're almost forced to be upright, I don't know. It's probably going to be more quads. So for that recommendation, I would say it's a B tier recommendation, but I personally would prefer just normal squats or Bulgarian split squats. They're pretty fire. That being said, again, we don't want to make too stupid of recommendations that are too advanced for people who are beginners. What we want to do, right? So instead of ply squats times by 20, let's do let's do three variations of the ply squat. Well, you pick one of them. Of course, don't just do 3 of them. 2 sets, just so you get more practice with it, of 5 to 10 reps. I would say more, because you'll get more leeway, a little bit more runway with the exercise, just because you're doing it with body weight. It's just going to be pretty hard on your cardiovascular just doing squats anyway. So if you want, and your cardiovascular system is okay, then I would say, yeah, do 5 to 20 of this exercise. One of the exercises, the first variation being you holding onto something, or better yet, sitting on a chair and getting up, like a low chair. Doesn't have to be exactly how, don't get a fucking bar stool or whatever. Get something that's like, a little lower than what you usually sit with, and just get up from there. With support, maybe you're holding onto a table in front of you, and then you get up. Now, as you do that, if you want to bias the glutes, then you want to kind of, hinge over. Make sure you're not bending your lumbar spine a bit too much, because then it's just going to irritate your lower back more than you probably need. And though I am a fan of targeting your lower back in the future, you're a beginner. You don't need to really target the lower back as much when you're doing general exercises which will already get it. So, you got that variation. The second variation is the ply squat, where you just hold yourself at the bottom with no support, without a chair. You're still holding onto the actual table, right? The third one, that's just going to be the normal one, the normal variation. Now, why do I say this? Isn't this supposed to... I know that you said that you have to be careful with adding too many reps too fast, but I can just do it quite easily. Can you really? If you're a beginner, can you really assess your depth? Now, that's the thing with the sumo squat. You can't really go super deep unless you have decent mobility. You can go pretty down. You can get quite a bit of knee flexion, a decent bit of hip flexion if you go sumo. After a certain time period, maybe if you get adapted to it, but a lot of people just don't have the mobility. So while they don't have enough mobility, in general, a lot of people just fuck up their squats. A lot of people don't know how to squat at all. They don't have the intuition to get to depth properly. It's just like they're always quarter squatting, and it's not. I don't blame you. It feels hard as hell. So if even the chair is too hard, then get a higher chair and then regress into lower chairs. But try make sure you have good depth while keeping your core tight. Bracing your core, so that means you're breathing in through your stomach, and then you hold it in. You have to be stiff as a rock, right? So that you can properly push through your legs. Your spine lacks some rigidity to a certain extent to perform, like to have max output of all your legs and arms. My personal theory is when Oonga Boonga guy was out here just like trying to push a rock, his spine was flaccid. He pushed it, but like his spine just went meh, and then he died. Whereas Googly Boogly, he had his spine stiff as a penis. When I see dudes with their freaking twink tummies out or whatever, if they do that, he's able to push it, and if the rock falls on him a little bit, he still stays up. And he can push. And so, something evolution, something, that's my theory. I'm very uneducated when it comes to it all. But yeah. So, plank squats, okay recommendation, but don't do arbitrary number of reps. Do 5 to 30, or 20 more like. 30 if you're a freaking masochist. And it probably would be better if you're doing body weight only. I would say go down slow-ish, like 2 to 3 seconds, and holding at the bottom for more pain. If you don't feel your glutes though, I again would just say, try small, in narrow stuff. A lot of people do say narrower is more quads, but I mean, again, hip flexion versus knee flexion is more important. And if some people are able to hinge over more comfortably with a narrow stance, I think that might be more worth it. That being said, the glutes are very, very strong, which is also why 20 rep squats are also it's just a bad recommendation for a bodyweight exercise. If it's too heavy for you, good luck. If it's too easy for you, good luck. You're both fucked in 2 different ways. If it's too heavy for you, it's like 1 rep maxes times by 20. Okay, awesome. That totally won't make you want to hate, just absolutely go Limp Biscuit. Freaking, what's that song was like? Everything is fucked, everybody sucks. It just makes you want to smash something, right? If you do seem to go past that in terms of an evolution, I would recommend trying single-legged. Now, single-leg exercises will expose your weaknesses, that's for damn sure. You might have one side that feels great and then another side that feels like total garbage. Record your sets. You might record it from different angles, and make sure that if you want glutes specifically, not too much knee flexion. But if you want overall legs to go with your glutes, knee flexion's great. Don't go past the point where you get a butt wink though. A butt wink, which is where your lumbar spine does this. Like where you're like a dog taking a poop. Just be careful. God, I rambled on for like fucking 19 minutes. Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry to the people who have ADHD. I'm just absolutely just going insane on this. Anyway, side plank. 50 seconds. Now, this is supposed to be a side glute exercise, and you can buy side glute, upper glute, lower glute. So, teaching people isolation is okay, but 50 seconds? Really? Again, this thing of trying to push people past their limits or under-challenge them. How about just go as long as you can? But even then, why not, instead of that, I mean, honestly, you could. What I think might be a good idea is you can loop a band around your freaking knees while doing the squats, and then you just open up like that naturally, and then your external rotators, your piriformis, which by the way you should strengthen, will get strengthened within that exercise already. It will teach you good cues to activate your side glute. That means that you don't have to do that. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that, however, when I had piriformis pain and didn't have access to a machine. That shit was awesome. Side planks, again, it's okay. There are the side bridges where you sort of push through with your side glute. You can look up online because I just cannot be bothered to type it anymore. It's okay, but again, it can be awkward for certain people. So again, my resistance, no, my opinion, resistance bands are where it comes into play. Get a few weak resistance bands that won't just suddenly stop out of nowhere. Do ones where it's like rather than okay, and just open up your legs with that. Wrap them around your knees, open up your legs with that. It'll be great for not just aesthetics but performance. My gum is turning to absolute mush. Let me just spit it out. I love Trident, but it always like turns to mush by the second hour. It sucks. Anyway, bridge time by 15 is probably the worst. So if you don't know what, oh sorry, by the way, with the external rotations of the hips, or you could just call them abductor work, I would say about one set is enough. One set of, let's say, 8 to 20 or 30, 8 to 30. You just sit down and you do it. You can pump out 30 reps. You're not gonna get freaking too much fatigue. You're not gonna die of cardiovascular illness or whatever. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be set. It's gonna be easy. Bridges are the worst exercise known to mankind because it actually makes you feel like you're doing something, but it's got horseshit range of motion, dog shit resistance, like in terms of if you're doing bodyweight bridges, really, I see these Instagram girls who can RDL like 2 or 3 plates, and they just putting dumbbells on their hips like fucking 20 kilos max, and they just sort of like, oh yeah, feel it burn. Oh yeah, feel the burn. Oh yeah, feel it burn. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world, but a bridge. At least do a hip thrust. Put your feet on like a chair, and then put your feet on a chair. Put your back on the back of the bed, or on the bed. Now, again, if it is a good starting point, then all right, fine. You can call this a really shitty regression, but it's so weird that you would go from plie squats, which require a lot of mobility, a lot of general core strength for some people. In general, it quite requires a decent bit of strength already. And then you're going to go to a bridge? Not even a single leg bridge, just a two-legged bridge. One of the biggest muscles in your entire body, just having to deal with the weight of what your pubes. Okay, great. The one when arm is garbage. This is just. If I was to rewrite this, I would say 2 sets of, at the very least, well, okay. Again, if this is a good start, but keep at this. But this will get outlived so easily, and you'll feel a burn. That might actually make you think that you're working so hard and whatever. But trust me, if this guy wrote 50 reps or working up like 15 to 50, you might get like 10 more. You might get 20 more. It's one of those exercises where you'll feel it a lot because of metabolite buildup, because of the contraction. But if you ignore that and you just pump it, like not exactly like an Eric Bugenhagen, just bah, right? I recommend good form always. But if you actually give yourself like, some faith, you probably will get 10 more, 20 more even. Or let's just say 5 more for the average person. Okay, 5 reps in reserve still works for a lot of people, but again, you'll outlive this so this is like the least progression of all of them. Well, the side plank being 50 seconds, that's still dog shit. But because your core might slouch and you might do all this wiggling just to keep at the 50 seconds, it's dog shit. But okay, the bridge is the worst. The bridge is the worst. Single, okay. You could do bridge first, then single leg bridge, and then you get yourself your feet on the chair, your back on the bed, or something stable that doesn't puncture your back with a really sharp edge, and you hip thrust or something. And then you do single leg. And then, if you want, you can do single leg RDL or double leg RDL if your elastic bands are strong enough, because you will have to use elastic bands for this. Honestly, even if you had like fucking 10-pound dumbbells or 20-pound dumbbells, you could get quite a bit of weight. Like, legs are so hard to train, especially glutes without weight or something that isn't just your body weight. Do you think that calisthenics athletes are known for their big gap? Exactly, they're not. They're known for their pecs, they're known for their back, they're known for their arms, those exercises that they do. They're pretty progressible, and also their upper body is just weaker compared to the glute. The glute. Okay? So, I would say, um, get yourself some resistance bands at the very least. But if you can get yourself some dumbbells, I would highly, highly recommend it. You could push them out forward while doing your RDL instead of keeping it close to your body to make it even harder on yourself. That shit's peak, but also very hard, so don't underestimate it. You can get quite a lot out of a little weight, but you kind of need some weight. I would say 1 to 2 sets of, let's say, 6 to 15 reps. 6 to 15, 6 to 14, something like that. And yeah, pick the variation that suits you best. Because let me tell you this right now, even if I was completely sedentary all my life and I never did any exercise, I probably would be doing 15 bridges from the very start. So yeah, lying leg raises 20 is the most. This is the problem. You got the easiest exercise known to fuck you, easiest exercise known to mankind. Freaking. And then you got leg raises. Leg raises. Oh, but use of their bodyweight exercise. They're for beginners. No, no. They're for beginners because beginners do them like dog shit. They use specifically their hip flexors. Let me tell you this right now. Leg raises are not supposed to be only a hip flexor exercise. They're supposed to also involve your lower abs. Do the abs connect to the legs? Like, do they connect to the quad? No. You know what does? The hip flex. You know what does this motion, right? Oh no, shit, this is a bad example. What does this motion? Yeah, that's the hip flexor. But you know what the abs do? Spinal flexion or resistance to external weight. So, potentially you'll build some, like a little ab, from the fact you're resisting kind of something on the way down with your legs out like this, because the momentum, aka the length of the force, is getting higher and higher. But like, dude, you want to really torture your abs? First of all, do that on the floor right now. Just keep your back just absolutely limp as a biscuit, and just put your legs up like that. You'll probably get a few up. Your legs might be sore. Now, do this, right? Get your freaking. Actually, don't even do that, because you might fuck your back up. Tuck your knees in. Tuck your knees in. Put them, heck, even to your chest. Nearly. And imagine, I'm not joking, I have a whole video on this. Sucking your penis. Sucking your penis. You won't get the same amount of reps. You will probably feel your abs for the very first time. If you come across this workout after, a couple weeks of trying to do ab workouts, and you do that cue, you're gonna feel it in your abs. Maximize the motion, maximize the muscles function in the motion to be able to get the most out of it. pretty simple. The legs are just there for weight. But here's the thing, you don't even need the legs to be able to work the abs. Now, I still suggest having some hip flexor work in some fashion or another, just because the fact that hip flexors do kind of look cool when they're developed, but also it's just healthy for you. You know, if you're walking a bunch, this will really help. Actually, walking in itself is quite a hip flexor exercise, so it's up to you. That being said, you can also just keep your knees tucked and just push your butt up and curve at the spine. This might be too hard for some of you. If that's the case, you could consider doing something with the resistance band, but I would be very careful. Oh, by the way, when it comes to the bridges, the glute bridges, you don't really want to do. Let me see. How would I demonstrate with my? You don't really want to do this, right? With your lower back too much. Not because, here's the thing, that isn't in of itself a dangerous thing, but the thing is, if you count that as X amount of volume for your glutes, and then all of a sudden you get friggin' strain in your lower ab, you know, where did that come from? Well, because you were doing your lower abs that way, or something weird. But if it seems to just be impossible to be able to do any of this, what you could do potentially is have a bridge-esque exercise, but you specifically focus on spinal flexion because you will be able to actually, well, work the abs with less weight overall. So like if your legs are like half the weight they are because half your leg is on like a freaking chair, and a lot of your body is not even a lot of your body's on another chair or another sofa or something, well, that's a lot of weight relieved for your lower abs. You can, play around. You can even do most of your leg. You can do 3/4 of your leg. All you need to do is just learn how to do spinal flexion, because God, it will save you so many years when it comes to ab training, because I know I've wasted them. So when it comes to line leg raises, don't do 20, because you're gonna fuck your lower back up. You're gonna freaking make it a leg exercise, and then you're gonna be pressured into adding weight on top of adding weight. That's the thing. As Dorian Yates once said, a bigger bag of shit is still a bag of shit, or something like that. Or a bag of shit that gets bigger is still a bigger bag of shit. If you do bad form, which by the way, again, don't make perfect be the end of your practice. Don't make perfect be the enemy of your good or your consistency. But if you have really bad practice and you keep to those bad practices, they will bite you in the ass because you have to relearn a whole movement after you've done the habits. Yeah, I don't know. Now, elbow plank, 35 seconds. Again, I don't like the stupid freaking numbers, because what happens when you do 34? Well, here's the thing. This is one thing I don't like about isometrics, which is what a plank is, because you're not specifically moving in one place or another. You're keeping still static. They're great, right, for a joint integrity, for being able to be in control of the movement, to feel the muscle, etc., etc. But on their own, I would like them to be in a whole program, or in after something or during something that still moves. So like, you're doing a bicep curl and they do like 1 second at the top isometric and then 1 second on the bottom on the stretch. Like on a preacher curl, for example, that's going to be quite good for the tendons. But I don't know about just loading up a bunch of weight and then just doing this. Like, even though on the preacher curl you won't be able to feel it as much because of the blah, blah, blah. Anyway, planks, once you do 35 seconds, by the way, don't, again, arbitrary numbers, do as much as you can with good form, because then you'll actually direct the stimulus to the muscle, rather than just all the connective tissue in the world arbitrarily more than you need to, more than good training already does. And once you get to like 35 seconds, and then you do 40, and then 50, and then 60, 70, 80, when does it stop? Do you do 3 minutes planks? You could. this is one of the cases where I just don't know if they're high. Because, like, again, plie squats, time by 20, ridiculous. Side plank, 50 seconds, kind of absurd, because, the obliques are quite weak in general. Bridge, obscenely easy. Like, my freaking grandma who's been in the grave, God rest her soul, could probably get up right now and do this. It is that easy. Maybe I lost perspective, I don't know. But I'm just telling you this right now, I bet your granny could do this 15 times. This is great for that exercise is great for someone who just got out of a coma. Like a 10-year coma, but nothing else. Anyway, unless you're like really obese. In that case, hey, just do that. That shit's like a freaking Eddie Hall deadlift then, fuck. Lying leg raises, time by 20, garbage recommendation. And also, it's not even butt related, that's lower abs. But if you're trying to do a butt centric exercise, like workout program, yeah. Actually, that's pretty good. And elbow planks, now they're good for being able to teach you to stabilize your core. If anything, I personally would say not to failure, not to the point where you're just gonna flop on the floor, but for a little bit. This is where sub-maximal work can actually be pretty good, just to cue your muscles into working properly. You put this before your squats, so you don't do it to a point where you're gonna flop on the floor. You do it like 20 seconds before you do that, just so you can get the abs to really learn how to contract, but also keep your trunk stable so you don't have a lower pooch or whatever. Your lower back don't give out. You can actually feel stability being made. And then when you get into your squats, you probably will feel a little bit better. By the way, with everything, warm up specifically to the exercise. So if you're doing a plank squat, don't just think that the planks is going to help your knees all of a sudden, because it won't. Warm up your knees. But yeah, so out of 10, I would rate this shit a 4, like for beginners, because it's just not. It's so unnuanced. I'm not expecting them to ramble on like as much as I have. I just don't think it's just the blanket assertions, the crappy sort of exercise recommendation order, and well, not order, but like one really shitty hard, one really insanely hard exercise, one really easy exercise, and then one that your grandma can do, and then the next only Thor could even dream of, whatever. I just would say keep it. Well, okay, I would say you'd have to have well, this would be better if there were variations to help those who are like beginner, those who are like intermediate or novice, those who are intermediate, advanced, etc., etc. To recap my program, I would say the plie squats are okay, but do whatever squat's comfortable and gets your hip flexion so you can target the booty. You don't have to do it all the way because you still have your bridges at the in the middle of the workout, so you don't have to completely destroy your glutes. But if you want, you can. 2 times by freaking 5 to 20, and you rest like 2 minutes to 4 minutes in between those sets. And you go slow and deep, and you hold at the bottom and you hold at the top. And you do the variation that is comfortable for you, that doesn't mess with your joints, and that gets you a good feeling on the muscle to a certain extent. Though just remember, if you're skinny, you don't have the muscle to feel. That's not even an insult, that just is what it is. That's why Jay Cutler talks about, oh, I got these big punks. Yeah, because his titties are the size of my head times by 2. So, of course, he feels there's too much. There's more to feel. Side planks being replaced with abduction work with a resistance band around the knees, just for that stability, for that ability to, well, first of all, also just to cool down from the squats because they're intense. You could potentially forgo this if you do the band around the knee while doing the squats. Would it be the most optimal? I don't know. I mean, it definitely depends on if your adductors like hella weak. If they're hella weak, then maybe put the adductor work before the squats and just do it like kind of to close to failure, which is, by the way, when the weight slows down exponentially past the point where, like, you can't control it slowing down. Though what you could also do is a squat that isn't super adductor unfriendly, and then do abductor work. Sorry, just so you can get the best of both worlds. So maybe ignore my my recommendation of the unless your abductors and your quads are like at a decent level with each other. Then in that case, you just go ham, put all the resistance bands around your knees. See if I care. Though they may help potentially with boosting you out of the bottom. Maybe not. Maybe they do. I should know because you're gonna have to like actually push out with your side glutes, so they may actually be harder in terms of the performance. So it's up to you. It's up to how much do you care about your thighs. If you don't care that much about your thighs and you kind of just want to use squats as a conduit for bigger glutes, then do the knees. If you want the best of the both worlds, do the squats as the squats. The heck, go full knee flexion if you can, as comfortably as you can, and then do your abduction work. The bridge, if you're really that unadvanced, then sure, but hip thrusts with more range of motion, a tight core, or an RDL, 1 to 2 sets, times by 1 to 2 sets by like 6 to 15 reps. Okay. Lying leg raises, make that shit to knee tucks. Knee tucks with actual spinal flexion. Let's say 6 to 20. 6 to 20. Not fucking 20. 6 to 20. Elbow planks, if you really want to actually have your core be like, fully ready, like you're just not really convinced, you maybe had a hernia in the past or whatever, or maybe just in general you're just not confident, maybe put that at the beginning just to prime yourself. But if you want to put it afterwards, I mean, you could, you already did your abs, maybe not in the way that targets stability, more mobility, fuck you, and just moosh, but okay, if you want to, you can do it. Okay, fine. See if I can. Frequency, which, again, this thing didn't tell you because, I mean, that's the worst part. This thing's probably going to think, well, the people who see this probably think you can have to do this every day. Oh, no. Now, I say hell no as if this is a word, like, if this is, I mean, this is stupidly hard in some parts and stupidly easy in others. My exercise selection as well as my execution that I would recommend to you would probably be harder because you're actually going to take your muscle to failure and not just bounce up and down and shit and fart and pee pee poo poo to get the weight up. But also it will account for, you being a noob progression. So like your ply squats from your friggin' high chair to your low chair to the no chair to the no support on your hands to single leg. Yeah, that's going to be just more. And also, by the way, with your leg raises, after you've mastered your knee tucks, then you can, move your legs out a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It's going to be hard to standardize, but just try to. So I would say for frequency, let's start with 2. And if you're feeling good and you're not progressing in terms of your weight while still keeping, weight reps because your body weight and maybe resistance bands. If you want, you can progress with resistance bands if you're able to hook on some exercises with that. Awesome. But yeah, if you're able to progress with the same form, the same execution, don't do some silly bullshit to get an extra rep. Then you can go to a harder variation. Then you can just master it though. Take your time. Again, the way to get the muscle on your glutes is not necessarily just to hit a number. Because let me tell you this right now, I can hit a few numbers on a bunch of things. But actual intention in your execution will beat all of it. Not to say that you don't get stronger over time, but it's over time, not within a time. It doesn't have to be every week. I mean, in the beginning it probably will be, as long as you're eating enough protein, as long as you're training hard enough, as long as in general you are recovering, sleeping, but you just need to just chill, train really hard, train to the point where it's gonna be hard to get that last rep safely on certain safe exercises. If on your ply squats you are unstable and you can't do it, and you feel like when you try you're gonna fall over, just don't. Okay. But I mean, on certain exercises like your knee tucks, as long as nothing like your lower back is fucking up, then go ham. Holy fuck, I've been ranting for 45 minutes. Yeah, Vernaxius, shout out to you, but good luck in good luck in watching all. I'm gonna text you to say just listen to it in the background because I'm not gonna put you through the torture of seeing me just going. Anyway, hopefully that is it for me. Wait, is it? There are other exercises, there are other body parts. I'm not gonna do them because, of course, this was 45 fucking minutes. I can't do more, otherwise, this will be a 3-hour video. That's it for me. If you got any more questions, let me know in the comments.